Many people vote for candidates for the wrong reasons, and along with that, many candidates run their campaigns the wrong way. Nowadays, campaigns are built on media bias and donations, which can be bad. Many voters also aren't aware how they can vote or how their votes count. It is important that everyone is informed so that we can get the right people in office. We're going to start out by talking about the main two political parties we have in the US, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is a left-wing party that tends to lean more liberal, while the Republican Party is a right-wing party and tends to lean more conservative. The reason we have these two parties is so that people can easily put themselves with one party or the other. If you tend to lean more conservatively, you would obviously go with the Republican Party. But if you tend to lean more liberal, you'd go with the Democratic Party. And then once you've figured out which party you associate yourself with, you can further investigate which members of that party you agree with more and which you might vote for. Now, when it comes down to voting for president, we have a Democratic representative and a Republican representative. But how do we vote which one out of the two becomes the president? Well, that's why we have the Electoral College. Now, it's important to understand that the American population, at least those who are over the age of 18 and are able to vote, don't actually vote for who the president is. They vote for their state, and then representatives from their state vote either Democrat or Republican. But it's a little more complicated than that. See, every state gets electors, who are the people that vote either Democrat or Republican. And now, the amount of electors you get, each state has, is directly related to the amount of congressional members there are, which, of course, are made up of the House and the Senate. For instance, California has 53 members in the House and 2 in the Senate, so we get 55 electoral votes. Another example, Wyoming, which is the least populated state in the US, has only 1 representative and 2 senators. They only have 1 representative because they only have enough population to get 1 representative. But they have 2 senators because, of course, every state has 2 senators. So, they get a total of 3 electoral votes. And this leads to low populations, states like Wyoming, being worth more for individual votes than for voters in California. Now in total, there are 538 electors, which means those 538 electors from across the United States are the ones who vote for who the president becomes, either Democrat or Republican. And now, to win, a candidate must receive 270 electoral votes. The media is all over the place. It's important to realize which outlets are biased and to realize that one must go to get news from both sides. Some news sources will go so extreme that they will use incorrect information to support their arguments. Even if a news source is reputable and uses correct information, it may still be biased. A good example of this is the difference between Fox News and CNN. They are all corporate news sources, educated individuals, but Fox News is conservative and CNN is liberal. People will usually only follow a news source that supports their argument. This is how most people pick their candidate. Campaign advertisements are targeted towards people in swing states and certain demographics. Here is an example.
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
They're going to be deported. We either have a country or we don't.
This is a country where we speak English, not Spanish.
They have to go. We're rounding them up in a very humane way.
Roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens.
Well, who's doing the raping? Somebody's doing the raping, you know.
Kids born to illegal immigrants.
Well, I happen to disagree with the whole concept of anchor babies.
The whole thing with the anchor baby, sir.
Our country's going to hell.
You don't think you've alienated people?
Ultimately, I bring them together. We're going to have a deportation force.
call me Miss Housekeeping, Miss Piggy.
Yo estoy con ella. Yo estoy con Hillary Clinton.
First time I'm won in my last 20 years in this country. First time for Hillary. All the way Hillary.
This year, 27 million Latinos will be eligible to vote. So that means we have a powerful voice and will impact this election. We must show up and vote. Why are you still watching this video? It's over. Go! Vote!
This is the main way that candidates reach out to certain people at certain demographics and areas. One person may see a commercial and tell their group of friends, thus influencing them and the way they vote, even if it's only a very small way. There are many controversies within campaign finance. It is thought that if a candidate receives too much money from a particular donor or special interest, that they will then become a puppet and do only what the donors want them to do. Now we're going to talk about the process for voting in Napa and elsewhere in the US. First, you need to be 18 years or older, you need to be a citizen of the United States, and you need to have lived in America for a total of 14 years. However, those don't need to be consecutive. Then, once you become 18, you need to register to vote, and if you're a male, you need to sign up for the draft. If, for example, you're living in Napa, California, you do not need to sign up for the draft, but you do still need to be 18 years or older, and you need to be a citizen, and you need to sign up through Napa to vote for Napa. Once you've fulfilled these requirements, you are able to vote for things like President of the United States, other congressmen, or laws or things that are more specific to your area. So, in order to make good decisions, one must factor in the many aspects of a campaign. One must also be as educated as possible when voting. It is a very daunting task to educate every voter in the country, but we can all benefit from this, no matter which party we vote for. If all of the aspects of voting are taken into account, then we can finally make democracy great again.